Hi, this is Cheryl St.Pierre of Majestic Wire Artworks. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make my fancy swirl Sally earrings. They're a little bit challenging to make, so don't get down on yourself if you can't do it the first try. But it's well worth repeating and practicing till you get it, and because they're very elegant, and they're one of my best sellers. So by all means, go ahead and make them to sell. And you're in the description below. I have your supply list. It's pretty simple. So we're going to start with one 9-inch piece of 20 gauge wire, and you're going to take your ruler and bend it at 3 inches. So you just measure it 3 inches and give it a bend, and that's where you're going to make your loop to hang your earrings from. So you're going to do this on both of them, and one is because they're mirroring. You're going to need to make one frontwards loop and one backwards loop. And then I want you to just wrap it around as neat as you can 2 times. Okay, so it's gonna look like 3 wraps, but it's actually only 2. And you want to try and make the loop as neat as possible because it's going to really show up on these earrings. Okay, I'm going to do the reverse loop now. So again, I'm going to measure 3 inches. Make my bend. Now I'm getting used to a new tripod here, so I'm hoping I'm not out of center too much. It's not as easy to work with as I was envisioning, but I'm hoping it'll make doing rings on camera a lot easier. Okay, so I've got it so that I put the wire behind instead of on this side, so it's just kind of feels awkward when you do that. And you can make sure your loop is centered, and again, 2 neat wraps. I still fight with the camera with this, but I gotta make sure that it's in focus. If I go too far away, if I put the camera too high, it's not going to be, I don't know, as good quality, I would think. I suppose I can experiment a little bit more. So I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit. So the next part is you're going to have, here I'll talk about the beads. I have 2 10mm hearts. These ones are purple aventurine, and I've used I'm using 4mm clear bicones, and you could use with a heart this small. I would recommend sticking with 4mm. You could use rondelles, you could use round beads or bicones, but all of them should be 4mm. And I use clear. Sometimes I do purple. The metallic purple is what I do sometimes, the multicolored. And you know, it's just whatever you prefer with whatever hearts you get. And hearts this size, just talking about where you can get them, Czech makes some. They're called puffed glass hearts, nice 10mm ones, and those are nice in here. And you can, if you go on eBay, you can and type in heart beads. Sometimes you'll really luck out and get a bunch, and sometimes you won't. So when you see what you like, it's a good time to order. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a bicone on. And we're just going to wrap this around like this. Now, bicones are trickier than round beads because you use the shape of the round bead to help you. With a bicone, you're just winging it and just doing the best you can. And wrap it around once because we want to come out the other side. Now, use your chain nose plier and push up the wire and cinch it up, and there, like that. I'm just pushing it like this, tighten it up. I'm gonna level that out. We're gonna probably have to adjust the wires as we go because they won't stay level. The goal is to have them level. Okay. Tighten it up again. Okay, at this point, I still want to do another wrap, but I want to straighten everything out. I want this to be level this way. I want the loop to be flat or level, this to be flat, all of them to be flat. And that looks about right. Now I'm going to wrap it one more time. Push it down. Okay. And make sure I didn't bend anything. It looks pretty good. Now I'm going to make a little loop on the top like I do with a lot of my things. And it gives a springboard effect. Okay. And we're going to stop at this point and make the other one to match because we want these loops to be similar in size. So I'm putting that down and I'm grabbing my other one and putting a bicone on and doing the exact same process. Okay, so I'm going to just skip by and get this done, and you can do yours as well. Okay, so I've got the second one done with the two wraps at the bottom, and I've checked to make sure everything's straight, and so go ahead and do that. And now I'm going to make the loop on top. And I'm going to compare the two loops and see that they're similar in size but reversed. And actually they look great. So if you had one bigger than the other, you would tighten up the bigger one to be the size of the smaller one. That's just the easiest thing to do. And now, because the loop sometimes tends to go to the side, I'm going to center it. And if I have to use my plier to push it, that's what I'm going to do, because my fingers aren't strong enough to do that. And okay, that one's good. And now let's check with this one. and it too is gone to the side. And that one was actually simple to fix. So there we go. Now I'm going to put the heart on here. Okay, and I'm going to use the top of the heart, the round part, as my guide to bend with my thumbnail the start of the loop. And it's going to move around, and it's not going to end up being at that point. That's just, it's just a guide of starting it, and it moves on you. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And then I'm going to go down, and I want it to move to the side a bit. Push it. Kind of like shaping the heart, outer heart, like that. Can you see that? And then I'm going to wrap around here twice. And my wire's a little bit short, but I think it's still long enough. So if you wanted to go 9.5 inches instead of 9, it would work for you. Okay, so I've got it wrapped around once. That's all I need. Now I'm going to bend this wire to go with it, and then we're going to make a loop at the base of the earring like this. And this one's turned out a bit messy, so I'm just going to push this so that matches a little bit. Actually, I might have to use a plier. Okay. And now I'm going to use the round nose plier to center it, because we want it in the middle. Okay, now it's got a better look to it. Push it down. Okay, and now we're going to grab the other earring and do the same process but in reverse. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Okay, so put the heart on. And now I'm going to use this top of the heart as my guide, using my fingernail this time. Well, I could use this thumbnail too, but get it started. Okay, and now I'm going to compare it to the height of the other earring. Okay, it looks like it might end up being the same. Okay, so I'm going to pull it over, rub it down, and now I'm going to compare it again, because I can still adjust it to some degree. Okay, so the loop is a little bit tighter, so I'm going to tighten that loop just a smidge. And I'm bending out the wire again, rounding it. You saw how I teased it with my nail. I do that a lot. Okay, so now I'm holding this wire down while I wrap around like that. I'm going to push this up because it got loose. And now I'm going like that. And now we're going to make a loop this way. The two wires. Well, that one went a lot smoother. Okay, and now, oops, wrong earring. That was the finished one. Okay, here we go. The loops, I'm going to turn upside down, are about the same size. This one's neater than this one. I wonder if I can neaten this one up a little bit. Sometimes you can. There, I don't know if you got to really see what I was doing. There, it took me a few years to figure out how to straighten out those. It just, there. Now this one's tighter than this one, so I'm actually going to stretch it out a little bit, gently tease it, because I like the big look of the bigger one. Now, that's pretty close. Okay, so the next step is to take your ruler and measure about 1 centimeter and snip it off. So I'm just going to go like that, grab my snips. I'm going to do the same with the other one. So I'm measuring from the edge of the loop on both of them. Sometimes it's easier to cut it a little bit longer just because the ruler gets in your way. Then you can measure it again. And I can eyeball that little bit of how much more to trim off. So I need to trim off. Are we in focus there? About this much. And then one more test you can do is you can compare the two like this, and you see how they touch at the same place, so that means we did a good job. Okay, so I'm gonna bend the two apart just a little bit, and we're gonna make a little tiny spiral with the bottom one so it reaches up to that loop. So you got to make your bud to start the spiral. Crimp it down and up like that, and then just continue along with your spiral. Just till it reaches the loop like that. And then the top one, I've got it upside down here. Okay, and I'm going to make a loop. Just so that the wire touches itself. Like that. And then I'm going to give it a bit of the wire, a bit of a curl. Okay. And then you want to flatten out the wire a little bit. So just gently, I'm pushing with my thumb there, pushing with the pliers there. And now I want to straighten everything out so it's all level, straight, and that one is done. And now we're going to do the same thing with this one. But I'm holding it upside down and at the back, just to give myself a good place to work. And start my little spiral on the bottom one. Okay, and then I'm going to make a loop on the top one. Push everything down. Straighten everything out. And I'm noticing that it's got too much movement, so what I'm going to do, see at the back it's got this loop. I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and push it up, because that's what's loosened. And I see now I've messed up the wire, but that's easy to fix. So I'm just going to tug it up again. Okay, like that. Push everything flat again. And there you are. It's fixed. Aren't they beautiful? Okay, now I'm ready to put the ear wires on. I made these ear wires in a hurry and realized that I didn't quite finish them all the way. Voila, and there they are. Aren't they beautiful? Okay, well, I'd like to thank you for joining me in this video. God bless, and we'll see you in the next one. See you later.